All right, we're getting in more information at this point of time. Contradictions coming in on this story. No bail has been given to Jayalalithaa. Well, that is the latest that we are getting in from the Karnataka High Court, despite the prosecution saying that they had absolutely no problem whether or not bail is accorded to Jayalalithaa. The latest that we are getting in at this point of time is that no bail has been given by the courts to Jayalalithaa. Well, that is the latest that we are getting in on the disproportionate asset case. Karnataka High Court was listening to this case. The precedent was set earlier on where the prosecution had said that they will not contest whether or not Jayalalithaa gets bail, and indications suggested, because the prosecution had set the stage for bail, Jayalalithaa would probably get bail, and now it seems that the court has said that no bail would be accorded to Jayalalithaa. The Karnataka High Court denying bail to Jayalalithaa is the latest that we are getting in. Well, all the celebrations right now will completely stop, and there will be a law and order situation where the state of Tamil Nadu is concerned. The Karnataka High Court having none of it from the prosecution, which did not contest the bail plea and said that bail will not be accorded to the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, who's been serving a jail sentence from the 27th of September. I'd like to cut across at this point of time to our editor South, T.S. Sudhir, who's bringing us up to speed on this latest news that is coming in. T.S., it seems that the cadre of AIADMK have jumped the gun, and so have that band of lawyers of Jayalalithaa, because the Karnataka High Court, having none of even what the prosecution had said, and has now denied bail to Jayalalithaa. Can you confirm this for us?
Yes, Preeti.
Yes, quite a contradiction coming in there. It seemed that the AIADMK cadre has been quick to jump the gun in terms of celebrations. The Karnataka High Court having none of even what the prosecution conceded, no bail.
Absolutely. In fact, what we are hearing from our sources from inside the Karnataka High Court, our colleague Pratibha Raman is there, and what she says is that the judge, Mr. Chandrasekhar, is still going through the entire arguments which have been put forth in favor of a bail, and also the public prosecutor, who has said that he has no objection to Jayalalithaa and the other three accused being given conditional bail. He has not, and I repeat, he has not decided in favor of granting bail. So obviously the AIADMK cadre, just like on the 27th of September, seemed to have jumped the gun. Even on that Saturday, they had actually distributed sweets because they thought Jayalalithaa will come back and not get convicted. Even today, just because the special public prosecutor Bhavani Singh had said that he has no objection, they jumped the gun because they thought that now the decks have been cleared for Jayalalithaa to be given bail. But as of now, as things stand now, at this very minute, the judge has still not decided in favor of granting bail to the four accused, including Jayalalithaa.
All right, so there is still a bit of ambiguity. T.S., is that what we are confirming? We still don't know whether or not Jayalalithaa has been granted bail or not.
Absolutely. We still do not know whether she has been given bail. As things stand now, the judge Chandrasekhar has not decided in favor of granting bail to the former Tamil Nadu
All right,
Chief
so
Minister.
What we can confirm for our viewers at this point of time is that the hearing, the bail application, the bail plea hearing continues. No news yet as of now whether or not Jayalalithaa has been granted bail as of yet. Earlier on, the AIADMK cadre had jumped the gun. Celebrations had broken out, especially outside Jayalalitha's house. But it seems that the Karnataka High Court, the learned judge, is going through the bail application and has said that is not going to decide on what the prosecution has conceded. The prosecution earlier on, when arguments began, had conceded that they will not contest if Jayalalithaa will plead for bail. But as of now, the hearing continues. No conclusive evidence whether or not Jayalalithaa has been granted bail. In the next couple of minutes or the next half an hour, we would know the details whether or not Jayalalithaa has been granted bail or not. But let's listen in to all the reactions that are coming in from the lawyers.
Under Section 200 IPC, under Section 200, a private complaint was filed in the year 1996, and then on an application which was filed before the High Court of Judicature at Madras, an FIR was registered and stating that a prima facie case is made out. The present people were found, charges were framed against them. and under 61 to 90 process to compel appearance, and 204 section 204 to issue a process, and 209 for commitment of case were done to the sessions, and under section 225 the trial began and conducted by the prosecution witnesses. The year later, under section 234 arguments were advanced, and under section 235 of CRPC the judgment was pronounced. Now the judgment, the people were found guilty for an offence under section 131 subsection E of disproportionate asset and 120B of IPC, and given 4 years simple imprisonment, and a fine to the tune of ₹100 crores was imposed against Purakshitalivi Amma. We preferred an appeal under section 374 CRPC, and 4 other applications were filed. One application is for bail, and the second application is to suspend the sentence, and the third application is to third petition is to opposing the impounding of the property, and the fourth application is for bail. Now, as such, the arguments were advanced by the senior counsel, Mr. Ramjit Malani, on behalf of Purakshitalivi Amma, and for the other 3 people, senior counsel Mr. Basha of the Karnataka High Court advanced the argument. And after hearing the marathon argument, the learned High Court Justice Chandrasekhar was pleased to ask the prosecution to argue where Mr. Bhavani Singh argued the matter. And now we reliably given to, he made an submission that he has no objection in allowing the people on condition bail. There the matter stands as it is. Till now, we do not know what condition is implied, what conditions is imposed, and what are the conditions as far as the money is concerned is also yet to be pronounced, and we are waiting there. Now,
all right, lots of contradictions coming in at this point of time. We're going to try and get some clarity. We're going to cut across. Headlines today, correspondent Rohini Swami right outside the Karnataka High Court. Rohini, just talk us through on what is going on. I want you to clarify on 2 issues. Has Jayalalitha's bail been denied as of yet? What is going on? Can you give us clarity?
Let me be very clear. Jayalalitha's bail, the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, her bail has been denied. It's very clear at this point of time the judge has pronounced his verdict. He has said very clearly that corruption is a violation of human rights. It leads to economic offences, and he does not see any similarity between Lalu Prasad Yadav's case, which is a case that has been quoted by Ramjit Malani, saying that he was granted bail in Supreme Court. He says there is no parity between both the cases. Lalu Prasad Yadav was already on bail when he was seeking further bail on his conviction, so there is no reason he sees in this particular case to provide bail or to give bail to Jayalalitha. So the point is very clear that former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, J. Jayalalitha, will continue to remain in Bangalore jail. Now she'll have to appeal to a higher court.
All right, so that's the latest that we're getting in, and that's the news that we're breaking in right now. Rohini Swami just confirming the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha, has been denied bail. That's the operative word. She has been denied bail. All the celebrations that you saw of AIADMK cadre have been premature. There will now definitely be a law and order situation on hand for the Tamil Nadu administration, but the latest that we are breaking news right now, confirmed by my colleague Rohini Swami, who's reporting right outside the Karnataka High Court, bail has been denied to the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. She will now have to appeal this verdict. I'd like to cut across to Mr. Nani Shankaran at this point of time, a political analyst on the phone line with us. Mr. Shankaran, fair bit of complications, contradictions earlier. The AIADMK cadre premature in breaking out in celebrations, quite like what happened on the 27th of September, sir. But how do you see things play out in Tamil Nadu right now? Definitely looking at a massive law and order situation.
It's definitely a huge setback for the AIADMK party. And they thought that Amma would come back here and at least do the remote control of the government and the party.
Yes.
Now even that is ruled out. and definitely AIADMK would have to do a lot of introspection and kind of put its act together, and it is going to be a real tough time ahead for them unless a higher court gives bail to Jayalalithaa, and which I don't think is possible in the present circumstances.
Mr. Sankaran, we can confirm right now, my colleague Rohini Swami, just breaking news, we can confirm that bail has been denied.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Sankaran, bail has been denied. You were going on, you were telling us now what could be the complications arising out of this, especially for the AIADMK.
Yeah, definitely it is going to be a huge setback for the party, and they would have to really look for some introspection and see how else they can run the party hereafter. And the government, in the absence of Jayalalithaa, she won't be physically available in Chennai even for a remote control operation of the party and the government, now that she has to be in the prison. So the party really is at the crossroads right now. And at the same time, there's another issue. One welcomes a stern stand of the High Court because they have said corruption is a very, very crucial antisocial issue. But question is, in case in appeal, if she gets acquitted, it also becomes an injustice to keep her in jail during the bail period. So fast-tracking of the case is also equally required. So the earlier the appeals are heard and disposed of, good for her, good for the country, good for the issues.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Mr. Sankaran, there, political analyst, clearly stating that right now it's going to be a tough situation, especially for the AIADMK right now. But right now, currently, what is going to be the biggest problem will be the law and order in the state of Tamil Nadu. The Karnataka High Court right now denying bail to Jayalalithaa and 4 of her associates. That's the latest news that we're breaking. And you can see, you know, these were scenes, passionate scenes of the AIADMK cadre. We're going to cut across to those visuals right now. They had prematurely started celebrating, primarily because the stage was in fact set by the prosecution, the public prosecution, which in quite a contradiction had conceded that they would not contest the bail plea of the former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. It did seem that Jayalalithaa would walk out of jail, but that was not to be. It seems the Karnataka High Court had none of that and said very clearly, in no uncertain terms, that there is no question of giving bail to the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. All right, I'd like to cut across to political analyst Suman C. Raman on the phone line with us. Mr. C. Raman, how do you now see this impact the AIADMK?
No, I think before that, I think first of all, we need to have a clear method of communication. We need to find out who has, jumped the gun with the news today. I mean, all the, many of the major news channels, many of the websites carried the news that conditional bail had been granted. Right. So I think I think what is happening is this is playing with the emotions of the people. I mean, if this kind of misinformation can be...
Mr. C. Raman, I understand what you're saying, sir, but I take immense pride in the fact that our network held back on this news till we got clarity on whether or not she had been given bail or not. We were the only network across all channels, sir, that we had not... we were waiting for news to be confirmed, and it's only now we are going with the news, sir.
But the larger picture is that this is going to create an even bigger problem because people have started bursting crackers and all that in Chennai, and the people are actually sort of in a celebratory mood. And now 20 minutes or 25 minutes later comes the news that bail has been rejected.
Yes.
Despite the fact that the
I understand, sir, but but these are scenes which were played out on the 27th as well of September, where the AIADMK cadre had jumped the gun earlier.
Yeah, no, but at least on 27th there was no official media was not, today for instance almost all the major media houses, including some of the country's biggest channels.
I understand, but Mr. Raman, we can't take responsibility for other media houses. I can vouch for ours. Our network held on to the news till the time we got confirmation.
Adding to the sort of fanning the flames, as it were, and this is something that was most avoidable. Yes. And also coming to the larger issue, also the question of bail. I do not know. I mean, we have to find out from the legal experts. The prosecution itself says that they have no objection to granting bail. She has been denied the bail. So I think that is something which we have to find out from the legal experts. Whether obviously the option of going to the Supreme Court is always there, but or reapplying for bail is also an option which is available. But we'll have to find out from the experts how often it happens. Okay. The prosecution says they have
politically, Mr. Raman, politically, how do you see things pan out, especially in the state of Tamil Nadu, especially where the party is concerned?
No, as far as the party is concerned, they are solidly behind her, and the people also, by and large, will view this very, especially the drama of the last half an hour.
Yes.
I do not know whether the court there has been any miscommunication or anything, or it's just the media houses jumping the gun, but they are going to view it in a negative light. It's actually going to add to the sympathy, because while people did feel that the law must take its own course, the general feeling was that bail would at some point of time would be granted. Maybe not today, but people do expect that bail would definitely be granted in this case.
All right. So she is yes.
Yeah. So I think that we will have to wait and see. Probably a fresh application for bail can be filed, or
she is going to appeal. Yes, her lawyer Ram Jethmalani. What we are getting to know right now is, of course, will file an appeal on the verdict there. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. C. Raman. And I'd once again like to confirm to our viewers, TV Today Network was one of the very few networks which held on to the news till the time we got a confirmation, and only then went with it. Bail denied to Jayalalithaa. That's the news that we are tracking. We have a correspondent spread out, reporting on every aspect of how things are unfolding. Rohini Swami reporting right outside the Karnataka High Court. We have our editor Sauti Sudeep giving us larger perspective on what is expected in the state. Shrisha Reddy is joining us from... All right, I'd like to cut across. We're getting involved right outside. Listen in.
Please tell us what transpired inside court.
No, please. I am Ramesh, Supreme Court advocate. Today, the bail matter, the bail has been rejected by the Honorable Judge. Even in spite of the public prosecutor giving no objection. And the next step is going to the Supreme Court. The only option of Miss Jayalalithaa is to approach the Supreme Court immediately tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
When are you approaching Supreme Court? After getting the copy of the order.
After getting the copies of the judgment, we'll approach the Supreme Court.